Yeah. You hungry, huh? It's right here.
Hi everyone, I'm Amber Oliver. Welcome to my channel where I share colorful DIYs, crafts, and life. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Today I'm introducing you to my jet-setting dog, Barkley. Last month we found out the US was changing import rules for dogs into the United States, and since I still haven't been able to join him and my husband overseas, it was time to bring Barkley home. We've been trying to reunite our family for almost 18 months as we were in the process of moving abroad when the pandemic hit and the COVID restrictions left us stuck on 2 different continents. Barkley got to spend 15 months in Macau, China with my husband before he came home. His journey took him on a boat from Macau to Hong Kong, then his first flight was from Hong Kong to South Korea. Since he was traveling on a cargo plane, this was just a quick stop to unload before he flew on to Frankfurt. Once he was in Germany, he got to get out and enjoy the Lufthansa Pet Lounge and eat and potty before the final leg of his journey took him from Frankfurt to Los Angeles. Unfortunately, there is a ban on flights into Houston during the summer months because it's way too hot, so I had to fly to LA and pick up my furry friend. We used a pet shipping service called Pets with Passports to get Barkley to Macau in April of 2020, and they did an amazing job despite the ever-changing rules during that time. Unfortunately, the shipping service based in Hong Kong we had to use to get him home was not as good. We had very little options this time around and we had to use whatever means we could. This meant longer flights with more stops, which obviously isn't ideal, but we really just needed to get our buddy home. The real drama occurred when I went to pick up Barkley. He landed in the US at 1:30 in the afternoon and the customs broker was supposed to pick him up and handle all the Border Patrol paperwork. I landed at 2:30 and was supposed to be able to get him at the cargo facility at 3:30. When I arrived, they told me that no one had picked him up and he was still waiting to go through customs. After several frantic and angry phone calls, I ended up going to Customs and Border Patrol myself, and I managed to get everything sorted that we needed to pick him up. After checking in our hotel, Barkley and I headed to dinner. We couldn't visit LA without a stop at In-N-Out Burger. I even let Barkley try a little. So when I first brought Barkley in, I had to leave him in the room so that I could go bring our bags inside, and he immediately started crying, which was so sad because I'm sure he's gonna have some separation anxiety after all the stress of this big international flight. So he's in the room this time. I went ahead and gave him his Kong with some treats and he seemed much happier. I don't want to sit in the car with this stinky dog bed for the next 6 days, so I'm about to do some laundry here in the hotel and clean up his bed. He did potty a little in his crate, so he's gonna get a bath and his bed is gonna get a bath. So this guy was up at 5 a.m. looking for his breakfast. Well, looking for his dinner, I guess. Barkley? Barkley? You wanna wake up? Come here. Oh, hello. This is how Barkley cuddles in the morning. He comes up, curls, and then turns away. Good morning. You ready for the big road trip? Yeah. You wanna go? Oh, hello. Hello. You ready to go potty? Can you go potty? Oh. You ready to wake up? Wait. Okay. We're gonna get up and go potty. Our road trip from Los Angeles to OKC took us 4 days. Barkley's uncle Anthony went with us, and we decided to spread it out and see some stops along the way. First, we went to Palm Springs, but they were right in the middle of the heat bubble, and it was 116 degrees. So we ended up just driving through our first national park, which was Joshua Tree, so I hope we can come back at some point. Our second night was spent in Phoenix, Arizona. Then the next morning, we got up and drove to the Grand Canyon. It took most of the day to make this detour, but it was so worth it. It had rained right as we were getting into the park and cooled the temperature down to below 80 degrees. It made our visit perfect. And it wasn't overrun with people. A double win. We stayed the night in gorgeous Flagstaff, Arizona. Day 4 was a super long one. We stopped by our third national park, the Petrified Forest, and then continued on all the way to Amarillo, Texas. We did have a stop in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but we mostly just drove all that day, about 9 hours of driving. Our very last day, we drove from Amarillo into OKC, where Barkley's Nana and Granddad picked us up, and we spent the rest of that week with family in Oklahoma before heading home to Houston. Barkley has now been on 3 continents, went through 5 countries, visited 3 national parks, and has been to 5 different states. Now that he's home, Eric will follow in the next few weeks, and our family will finally be back under the same roof in September. Be sure to subscribe to follow our next adventures and all of our upcoming home makeover projects. Since we don't get our time abroad, we've decided to make our house a home we love instead of just a place we have to live. I'll see you in my next video.